which means that anybody who wants to ask me questions can ask me questions. So there we go. I'm live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on TikTok, and live on Instagram. All right, so we're doing live counseling. So anybody who wants to pop on and come live with me, I'm ready. So first I'm going to start with a question. And the question is, what about drama response from pasts that are held in the nervous system of the body? So there's people hopping on. I'm doing live counseling. So if you're on any platform and want to speak with me, ask me any question, come to Instagram and request to join live. Until we find that first person, I'm going to answer a question that I got in the inbox. So if you want to come on, request to join live. So first question, what about drama response from the past that are held in the nervous system in the body that are patterns now on repeat in the reticular activating system, otherwise known as the RAS? And that system is in high alert, showing us it all. So the question is, and I've got one person requesting, so if you guys want to also request, I'm going to skip this question and go to the live request. I'll come back to that question later. It's a pretty easy answer.
Hey, brother.
Is this Bobby?
Yeah, bro.
Bobby from Australia. Yo,
Yeah.
What's going on, man? That's your van?
Yeah, it's my van. The bathtub.
Where are you camped out at?
Down here at Bondi Beach.
Cool. I have a
Yeah.
Bono Beach shirt.
Haha.
I said I have a Bono Beach shirt.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I'm doing live counseling though, dude. Do you have a question or are you just saying hi?
Yeah, man. I've got many questions of this universe and been trying to figure out recently.
Yeah.
Is time relevant, and can we slow it down for ourselves and others around us?
That's a good question. So my answer to that and my understanding of that is that time is a perspective that we have while we're in this physical matter, in this physical universe. And it also is an illusion, but an illusion in the way that it's a small part of the whole picture. So yes, we come here to experience a linear time, but then your question was, can we slow it down? Can we speed it up? What's the deal with time? The way that I view time is that our brain is it's like a film where there's a bunch of slides per second. And I feel that the more efficient we are, or the younger we are, the more frames per second we fit within a second. And the older we get, the less frames per second we're able to cognitively perceive. And then that gives us the sensation that because there's less frames that we're perceiving in each second, the time's actually going faster, if that makes sense. If you remember back when you were like 10 years old, 3 hours felt like an eternity, but now 3 hours is like it just flies by. It's because we're not viewing as many of those frames, but our consciousness is flying through those little bits of frames that we view. So in order to slow down time, we really have to work on our brain, our ability to perceive more. And that's a way that we can literally slow down our perception of time.
Yeah, amazing. So, like, do you think as we start getting to different levels of power through brain power, like kind of like the movie where she turns into 100% brain power? Have you seen that movie?
Powder?
What's the name again?
Powder? Was it the guy that was all white?
No, the girl that gets drugs put in her and it breaks in open her and it opens her up into 100% brain power.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Okay, yeah. As she started going up enough, she said to influence the environment more and more around her. And
Yeah. I mean, our brain's a lot more capable than we consciously perceive. But I think that all of us are using 100% of our brains. We're just not perceiving it. And that's the function of the brain. Is if we could perceive everything that our brain is doing, like our brain is deciding how fast our heart is beating and how much, fluid is getting into each and every cell of our entire body. If we had perception of that, we wouldn't really be that functional. So our brain is actually channeling just a little bits of information that we need. And that's about 250 bits of information is, I think, per second is what we're consciously aware of. And that amount of information is enough to have two conversations. So if you imagine having a conversation with me right now, and if there is somebody next to you having a different conversation, that's about the max of our conscious capabilities. You probably could understand to both of us, but if we added a third person in there, there would be no way that you could have three different conversations at once. So our conscious
no way that we know of now. But I feel like I did a 7-day water dry fast, and then went to a festival after the fast. And I felt like I was at one point of the festival, I was listening to 12 people at a different time.
Yeah.
And mentally speaking to them all.
So right, I'm speaking normal terms, and you're speaking with this information, how can we hack it or utilize it? And for sure, there's a reason why in every ancient text, there's the 40 days and 40 nights without food or water before all the miracles happen. It shows up in tons of different religious and ancient and occult teachings. And it's because that is definitely where the superpowers lie.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's somewhat like not killing, but like wiping all the information from your system and then using your knowledge on how to re-soil your gut biome to be able to plant all the seeds in a much better direction, so they can branch out and build a higher up kind of consciousness. That was my experience after my 40-day fast. Was all about getting that Garden of Eden inside my belly, in the way of the respect of what I put into my mouth, respect the frequencies that enter my field, and then as I found respect inside in the garden, I was able to build my consciousness up as high as I could to be able to attract my place into the higher up parts of the earth. So,
yes, it's like you become self-sufficient, and it's no longer the food or the water that gives you energy, it's something else, right? And then it gives you access to what that something else is. Guys, we're doing live counseling. If anyone wants to join, just request to join live. Bobby, it was a pleasure talking to you. I want to answer this question I just got from Vitamin CJJ.
Look forward to listening to it.
Yeah, nice seeing you, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
So, Vitamin CJJ, if you want to clarify your question, come on, request to join live, or I will answer it right now. It's always good when everyone can see who I'm speaking to. So, Vitamin CJJ says, would love to hear you talk about trusting in the universe when the money is running out. If nobody wants to come on, all right, here we go. That question. So I'll start with the story. One time I owned gyms and I had lots of money, right? Multiple five figures. Here he is, or she, or some other version of sex is coming on. And we're still waiting. Anyways, accept. I'm saying accept. I won't accept it. All right. So one time I was making lots of money and I decided I didn't want to do the business anymore. So I shut down the businesses and I decided to float and see where my manifestation abilities could take me. Was I able to manifest a wealthy house with all of the things, a better house than I was currently living? Was I able to manifest? I was single at the time. You know, like the dates, like does money affect my attractiveness to the opposite sex? I was able to manifest. Was I able to manifest cars? Was I able to manifest food? And I decided to go on this experiment. And guys, if you're just joining, I'm doing live counseling. Request to join live. So I went on an experiment, and on Instagram, you have to request to join live. So join me on Instagram. So I went on an experiment, and I eventually started running out of money. And when I started running out of money, I realized, oh, wow, awesome. I don't have any more money, but my truck that I love is worth thousands of dollars. All right, I see some requests. I will join them, and I want to finish telling this story. So I sold my truck, and I got $4,000. And in that moment, I realized that I've always wanted to ride my bike around Los Angeles, and this is a perfect manifestation for me to get on my bike and start riding my bike everywhere. So I started riding my bike everywhere, and it was awesome. It was my manifestation. It was what I wanted. And I was trusting that I was able to manifest, and I found evidence within that. Eventually, that $4,000 ran out, right? And then I'm like, wow, I've never done a fast in my life. It just so happens that I don't have any money to buy food anymore. So that's when I did my first, it was actually water and urine, my first no food, just water and my own urine fast. And it was perfectly timed for when I ran out of money from my truck. And I also at the same time was wanting to live somewhere else than where I was for the last 6 years. So that was kind of going on in my head. And in that fast, during that fast, somebody approached me. I met somebody. We went into business together. And essentially, long story short, the business required us to live in an awesome place. So we moved into a house at the top of the Hollywood Hills, like at the very, very, very top. I didn't really want to drive my bike up and down because it took 45 minutes to get from Sunset to the top of the hill on my bicycle. And so within days of living in the house, he gave me a sign-on bonus where I was able to buy the Polaris Slingshot, which is the 3-wheeled car that I had with no roof. So my point is that when you start running out of money, look for reasons why you're manifesting this. Is it because you really just identify with being poor? Because if so, that's what will be manifest around you. You will have struggle. You will have bills due. You will have collectors calling you. You will have your friends hating you because you can't go out. But if this is a beautiful experience that you are loving and enjoying and manifesting, you want to prove to yourself, you want to find evidence that you are manifesting life around money. And when you start needing money again, right? Because I couldn't fast forever, literally when I started needing money to eat, money came in abundance. A house came, a car came. There was weekly money coming in. There was prospects that I'm partnered in this business, yada, yada, yada. All right, so I'm going to try and accept somebody else. I'm doing live counseling, guys, right now. So if you want to join me live, I'm trying to bring people on. Hello.
Oh my God. Hi.
What's your name?
My name is Karen.
Karen. I'm doing live counseling, so I want you to know that I may use this video in any social media platform, and I'm also not a licensed professional, so please be responsible for entertaining the information that I share with you, and I'm taking no responsibility for it. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so everybody's watching and they're wondering what kind of question you have. So what's up? What's going on in your life?
I think my question surrounds building my Reiki practice and not really knowing like how to go forward with that. I think I'm kind of just like, still receiving my training and kind of building that confidence to give back to the community, and I like don't really know where to start essentially.
Okay, Reiki. So this is my first question. Do you have a way for people to pay you?
I haven't looked into it like too much, but I was thinking of using Square.
Okay. Yeah, so many people talk to me about this. This is an epic question because there's a lot of people watching right now that probably have the same questions. How do I take something that I'm doing and I started on the journey of because I liked, but I'd like to start teaching people. I'd like to start making a business out of it so I don't have to, and I don't know if this is your case, so I don't have to still go to Starbucks and work as a barista 40 hours a week, right? How do I just do this? Because then it allows me to get into it deeper and passionately study it so that I can even become a better Reiki practitioner. And the first question I always ask people is, do you have a way for people to pay you? And usually that's not taken care of. And that's the first thing that you need. You need some way of exchange. And it can't just be cash, right? Because if it's just cash, you're minimizing the professionalism that you're showing up. You're signaling to the person that you're not doing legitimate business. And also, the person needs to think about paying you the first time they pay you and every other time they pay you, because they have to take cash out of their wallet like this and hand it to your hand. All of that is a barrier to you continuously receiving the money, right? So yes, get your Square set up so that you can, whatever you need to do, get packages set up so that you can save credit cards and reoccurring payments. All of this stuff is going to be accessible to you if you have that part set up. And that's number one, okay? You can't do that once you get clients because you're not going to get clients if you don't have a way for your clients to pay you, okay? So, and there's a million things I can focus on right now, but I think what's most healthy and useful to everybody is to understand that when you're providing a service, sometimes you feel icky because I heard just in your language that you might feel more comfortable doing it for free, and I'm reading in between the lines, and that charging for it might be something new for you. Is that uncomfortable for you at all?
Yeah, like, so I do have a full-time job and I want to keep my full-time job. I want to do this on the side. But yeah, like I haven't set up that Square yet because I'm having trouble with building that confidence to charge people. And like a lot of my clients right now are just friends and family. And it just, I'm also kind of training with them. So I feel like I want to get to a certain level of mastery before I would feel confident and like right to charge, my friends and family or, other people.
Mm-hmm. That's the difference, especially between men and women. And I'm speaking from a binary sort of sex position. I completely know that there's more than there's people that are born with both sex organs. So I'm aware of intersex, but the difference, a major difference between men and women is that men in business is that men are willing to do things before they're good at it and charge for it. They're willing to ask for a raise. They're willing to apply for positions that they're not qualified for. Women want to make sure that everything's right, and they want to represent themselves the greatest. So they wait, and sometimes they just wait for their entire life before starting something. So understand that that's, from my perspective, one of the major reasons why men earn more than women for doing the same thing is because men are they're bolder. And know that if you want to do something professionally, you're always going to be having to push like the boundary of what you know and what you're charging for. It's never going to be comfortable. You're always going to be learning something new and then the next day teaching it. Okay, you don't get to learn something new and then let it simmer and percolate your brain for 2 years and ponder it. You're going to be teaching things as soon as you know it. So you're always going to feel like you feel right now. The only difference is that you become more comfortable charging for the new information that comes in to your life. So get your payment set up, and that doesn't require you to even teach or to do Reiki. It doesn't require you to sell, but it at least makes it possible for you to sell. And once you have that possibility, when the other situation comes in, which is a person with a wallet, that you will be able to plug them in. And it's just simply saying words. And it's usually just sentences like, are you like a simple sentence like, is this something you want to start today? Is this something you'd like to start in the next few weeks? If you're talking to somebody about Reiki and you say that you're a Reiki practitioner and that you charge to do Reiki on people and they say, I'm interested, eventually you have to ask the question, is this something you're interested in doing with me? Because I've got scheduling. And it becomes really simple once you get the roadblocks out of the way. But right now you have a roadblock. You don't have a way for people to pay you. So
and then the other question is, do I need like a business proposal for this? Is it smart to have one, or should I just kind of like wing it kind of?
You mean like a value proposition? Like, what do you mean a proposal? Like a business license?
I don't know. Like, I was just thinking that, like, I do have a background in business, but like, back in university, they're always like, you always have to have like a business proposal whenever you start any kind of business, so that you don't like veer off, or I don't know, what you're doing, I guess.
No. You mean, so basically there's no rules. You have no idea how this is going to end up. And universities are used to rigid systems that don't change. You have no idea what the world's going to be like in 5 years. You might be doing Reiki for free in the virtual reality and making money on selling stickers. Like, you have no idea what's happening. You cannot foresee what the business landscape is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years where something like that makes sense. So right now, what makes sense is for you to help people heal themselves through Reiki, and your time and your space and your energy is valuable to do that. So figure out a way to charge people. And I would also recommend, this is a little bit higher level, get people on sessions. So charge them more expensive to buy one session and less expensive to buy 5 to 10. Whatever the sweet spot is, maybe it's 3. I don't know how many times people like would need to see you as a Reiki practitioner, but if it's 3, whatever's the most ideal for them, funnel people in so that they purchase that amount of packages, because that's going to allow you to help them the best, and it's going to prevent them. We don't want cheap people to only buy one session and not really get anything out of it. If it takes 12 sessions, then make your pricing structure so that one session is $300, but if they buy 12, it's $75 each time, but it's paid up front. And then that way, now you're in the second step of being a professional, which is handling people's money before you actually give them the services.
So I think that it's like helping me form kind of the values of why I want to offer Reiki, and it's to help the community. And like, I don't want to detract from giving back to the community and like providing barriers for people who can't afford,
This is also, these are all questions that everybody has, okay? And they're just limits. You're putting your limits of what you think is going to be beneficial for society. You're putting that on society. And so I just want to reframe a little bit. This will be like the last thing I say with you. Everybody else, I'm doing live counseling, so join me live if you want to ask a question. So there's this concept that I learned through yoga, and it comes from the East, and it's, if you show up empty-handed, you're going to leave empty-handed. All right. What that means is that if somebody shows up with no investment and you pour into them with Reiki or teachings or any sort of service, they're not going to be capable of receiving that, because they showed up with no energy. There's no energy exchange for them. They have no idea of the worth. And the reason why they don't have any idea of the worth that they're giving them is because you set the worth at 0 if you don't charge anything. So people that are paying, it's also benefiting them, because when they give you $100 for a session, in them, they've released what it took them to earn that $100. They've released their attachment to it. And there's like a little hole that forms inside of them that they're able to then take and fill in with what you're giving them. If you start charging people $10, you're going to start realizing, and probably you're already seeing this, the people that you're doing for free are not respecting what they're receiving because there's no way for them to receive it because you've never allowed them to open up and to understand the value of what they're getting. So charging people is for their benefit as much as it is for your benefit, and getting your mind wrapped around that you're helping them out by allowing them to detach from money and value what you're giving them. It's necessary. It's necessary. I own gyms. The people I didn't even give my sister a discount. I dated my now wife for like 6 years when I owned the gym. She paid me more than anybody else. She paid monthly dues. She paid me at one point $1,000 extra a month for me to basically watch videos of her. It was called private coaching, but I didn't put much energy into it. And the fact that I took so much money from her made her basically passionately excited to learn and to receive. And she retained more information, knowledge, practice from me than anybody else did because she was paying me the most. So just know that there's that dynamic happening as well. And then when you find the person that doesn't have the money, because you're doing all of this with everybody else, you'll still be able to help that person. But I wouldn't just do it for free. Have them come pass out flyers or make social media posts for you. You know, there's going to be young people that don't have money, but they've got technological wizardry knowledge that they can trade for what you're giving them.
That's a beautiful response. Thank you so much, Ra, for your time and your wise guidance. I appreciate it.
Thank you. What's your name? What's your social media? Just so if somebody wants some Reiki, they can contact you.
Karen, and my Instagram is granolasbee, GRANOLASBEE. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Beautiful questions.
Thank you.
Guys, we're doing live counseling. If you'd like, request to join live. And
how do I stop this?
I don't know.
I want to watch, but
yeah. Maybe you X out or sign off and then sign back on. I'm not sure. All right. What's up?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Ant.
Ant? Like A-N-T? Like Anthony?
Yeah, yeah, Anthony. Everyone calls me Ant.
Yeah. I've known an Ant before.
It's going, man. How's everything on your end?
Epic. Yeah.
I see that. I've been following you for a minute, man. Thanks for accepting my request. I was sitting out here. I'm like, I have a feeling he's going to pick on me next.
Yeah.
And then putting that out there, I appreciate it, man. So I'll get right to it. I'm in sales. I have had a shit last 2 months. I'm down to my last pennies. And I had an opportunity come up the last few days to pursue what I want to start doing in the realm of coaching. Specifically, this course is around somatic breath work. And I went ahead and accepted it. I had a credit card come in, and there's just enough money to procure this course. I wanted to know if you were down to your last pennies and you had this situation arise where you wanted to pursue what you truly wanted to do, if you would take it, I know you would. And any advice you can give me moving forward to keep a level head and, continue my pursuit.
So first of all, recognize that how everything's working out is working out exactly as you need it to, as you intended it to, as you planned it to, like from some higher purpose, right? There's this concept that I've recognized through my life and through the lives of others, and that is that if there wasn't the pressure that you feel right now, then you wouldn't perform as well as you need to perform now to make this happen, right? Because we're talking about you completely switching careers, which is probably going to switch the entire way that you live your life. And in order for that to happen, that pivot to happen, all of these other aspects, you not having money, your job not doing well, you had to get a new credit card, all of that stuff had to happen for you to then focus. There's a movie with Ben Affleck where like he was supposed to go back in time or something and get like $19 million, some super, super, super big amount of money. I don't know if you saw this movie, but instead he goes back and basically what he finds out is that himself, before he got his memory erased, gave up that money, gave away that money. And all that he left himself was like an envelope with like 10 items in it. It was like a key to a car, just random items. And they were like, here, you gave away your money, you don't get anything, and you said that you wanted this envelope instead. And basically, he now has to pay attention to the envelope because there would be no other reason why he would forego having that money. So he's like, now I'm focused on these items in the envelope. What do they mean? And then the whole movie is about figuring out what each item meant. So right now, I don't know if you've seen that movie, but if anyone's seen that movie, drop it in the chat. But that's you right now. Like you're in that moment where like you have to pay attention to the current assets that you have. And the good thing about it is that all of the distractions are sort of dissolved away. And then you just have the path that you just paid for. And I would dive in and I would tell you that your background, everybody's background, they want to like kind of like cast it away. But your background in sales is going to revolutionize how you do somatic breath work and how your business flourishes with you behind it. You're going to figure something out that most practitioners don't know because they don't have the brain and the experience that you have. So that's what I have to say right off the bat. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know.
I appreciate that. Was really well said, and thank you for that. Another thing I didn't mention is I have it's funny, I keep on finding myself in this position. My debts totaled in over 60 grand, and being in this position, I thought I would talk myself out of it. But like you said, under pressure, under this circumstance, full looped cycle again, I feel no fear moving forward, given my situation. Is there any advice you have as to, little things I could do on the side to accumulate a little bit of wealth to move me through these times?
Well, I mean, there's lots of things you can do on the side. That's really just up to your interest. What you want to do is figure out, like, what am I interested in? If I'm not going to do this sales job and I'm going to have a lot more free energy and it only takes me this amount of hours a day to study the somatic breath work and you've got extra time, just start asking start recognizing or writing down what is it that will add to your next career and what are you interested in? And you might be like, I'm interested in computers and I'm interested in knowing how digital marketing works because once I do this, I'm going to need to market myself digitally. And you might find yourself reaching out to somebody else who's doing what you want to do and working for them part-time doing something, so you just got to really get clear on what it is that you want out of this let's say part-time job, like what it is that you want out of it, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to spot it when the opportunity comes. And that's the missing link, is people aren't clear and they're expecting something to come knocking on their door and saying, hey, you don't know that you want me, but come in this direction. You have to find out and be clear what direction you want to go. When the thing comes, it might be far away, it might be several steps to get to it, but you'll know that is perfectly going to serve you because you're clear on the direction that you're going.
Got you, man. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, what's your name and IG? Ant, that's right.
Anthony.
What's your IG? Because it doesn't show up if people are watching repeats.
Yeah, it's at Ants, ANTS _ humble, HUMBLE _ abode, ABODE.
Ant, pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Guys, we're doing live counseling. If you want to come on, just request to join live. And let's see if this one's going to work. If not, I've got a question in the email. Nobody wants to come live. All right, next question. What about drama response from the past? So what about drama? I don't know if that's the right word. Trauma. What about trauma? Trauma. That makes more sense. What about trauma response from the past that are held in the nervous system, in the body, that are patterns that are now on repeat in the reticular activating system in high alert, showing us it all, basically meaning showing us all of the trauma again. And he's basically saying no amount of positive thinking or cognitive approaches can help recode that unless we rewire it in the body, which is true, because that's what he's doing, this somatic breath work. Because if you can bring your brainwave state back to delta frequency, then you can start reprogramming yourself. So there's different frequencies that our brain goes through as we grow. Once we go from like 0 years old to 21 years old, and we're more malleable, meaning that the programs will sit deeper within us at those younger ages, especially like up to 7, 8 years old. We're in a certain frequency where we're not questioning much because we haven't identified ourselves as autonomous. We're still relying on our parents and reality to teach us about how reality works. Request to come live. All right, I got a request, but I'm going to answer this. So when we want to reprogram ourselves as an adult, when we just tell ourselves, don't get angry anymore when somebody brings up this certain topic, that doesn't work because our brainwave frequency isn't in a receptive mode. And so we will have to get ourselves into a receptive mode of being in order to start adjusting our programming. And that's one of the things I want to do at our house. We've got a yoga studio. I was going to have people over where we bring ourselves into delta and we do reprogramming exercises. But for those of you who have trauma, just talking it out usually isn't going to work. Even just adding something like going on a walk and talking it out is going to be significantly more useful to you, because just the movement of your body is going to allow those patterns to start breaking up as you're talking it out and choosing on to want to bring on new patterns. So whether it's breath work, some people use psychedelics. I think that's like the hot new sexy thing, and I don't really promote it that much because I think that there's other ways to do it, but psychedelics can be one thing where you can alter your sense of emotion, and then you can start repatterning yourself based on that state of being. But meditation, ice baths, running, sex, getting yourself to a delta frequency, theta, delta, theta, getting yourself down to deeper levels of brain frequency is going to allow you to start inputting programming into your body. Okay, if you guys want to join live, it's a lot easier with another person to give context, because then that person could have replied. I got some other questions going live on YouTube. Hi. What's your name and IG?
I'm Love, and my IG is Forest Blessings.
Say that again?
My name is Love, and then my IG is Forest Blessings.
Forest Blessings. Nice. I bought a book. It's called Forest Bathing. And I haven't read it yet, but it's about how to bathe in the forest with the energy.
Yes, yes.
So, Love, what's going on?
Well, lots of things. I'm actually going to step outside because I kind of chaotic house. I am a single mother, and I run a business, and I run a farm, and I run a nature school. And currently, I've been in a whirlwind of, okay, I'm here and I'm helping society, and I'm, giving forth, helping the children. But lately it's just been a lot to take on emotionally. And a lot of energy with work related, watching the other individuals say stuff about work. And I've been thrown into a whirlwind of wanting to start my own therapy out of my home. Talking to individuals, it's very natural for people to just like talk to me and call me up and for hours on end. And it's beautiful. I love it. But I'm in a just toss right now of just like working with the children or working with the adults. And the reason why I wanted to work with children is to prevent the therapy in the adults. And so I'm just, I don't know, maybe some like enlightening words from you or something. I don't know. It's just it's been a crazy week, I'd say. Very crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're already doing what you want to be doing, though, if you're talking to adults and you're running a school. So that's not the problem because you're doing that. Like your lack of doing that and wanting to do it isn't, I don't perceive a problem there. So where exactly is the thorn at? Because that's the problem, because you're doing it.
Doing it alone, I'd say. I'm a very communal person and I love community. And I guess as like a single parent, it's hard to navigate it with the nature school. Like I feel like I am showing up for the other mothers, but I also feel like I am, I don't know, making it okay for them to drop off their kid all day with me. And I'm like raising all these other children that should be with their mom. It goes really deep and I feel bad for saying that, but it's like I've been a childcare for my whole life. And it's like, I don't know, it's heavy energy on me, but it gives me an opportunity to stay with my children and a business on that. But
so you're not so do you, what would make it better for you? Let's start there. Like, let's just focus on the nature school because it sounds like I can make my own inferences. It sounds like maybe you're overworked or you feel like people are taking advantage of you. I don't know if that's true, but so what takes that away? What makes that better? What needs to happen for you to feel satisfied?
Consistency, being more, I don't know, head in the game, I feel. To me, it's just more like stepping up in a way and trying to like push harder. To be better, you got to work harder, which is like so much work. It's never-ending work. But I feel to make it easier, you must work harder. In the end run.
So my mom owned a daycare my entire life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, beautiful.
We owned the house next door, and that's where she ran the daycare out of. So my entire life, she would be right next door running a daycare. And she had 4 kids, so we were a big family, and she had responsibilities with us. And it was imperative that people didn't take advantage of her because then they would really be taking advantage of us. So really getting aligned to that, you have like set up the container so that there's boundaries that are respected, and I think inhabit that like mama bear, like you're not doing it for your comfort, you're doing it for the comfort of your kids so that you can be there for them. And it's really just organization, and there's a whole bunch of things that you will do that people will actually start taking advantage of. Like, let's say for instance you make like a late fee. Like if you show up late, you have to give me $20. People are going to start looking at that as, okay, I can show up late and all it's going to cost me is $20. So you have to be really clear, because sometimes we make these policies around ourselves and around our business that we feel that we understand why we're making them, but nobody else is really going to understand it. And in fact, they're going to take advantage of it because human beings are wired to think about what's in it for me. So if you're going to be charging a late fee, then I'm going to just be 3 hours late instead of 15 minutes late. Right? So just learn to speak what you need more, even to the people that you're charging money. I don't know if there's a transaction, but I want to let you know that the more professional, precise, clear you speak to people, the more that they're going to respect you, not because you're being mean, but because you respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, that is what evokes respect from others. It's the fact that you respect yourself and you have these policies, and other people is talking to somebody who is respectable. They respect themselves. If you don't respect yourself and you're flimsy, then people are like, this is a flimsy person I can take advantage of. I don't know if that's what you're getting at, but I would like to see your nature school nourishing for you. And I think that everybody else wants it to be nourishing for you. Your own kids, your, all of your relationships, and even your clients, they all want this to be as fulfilling to you as possible because they want the best version of you watching their kids. And start there.
Thank you so much. It just brings me so much light knowing that your mother owned a daycare and being right next door. That sheds light on me because I hope my children benefit from this as well. And you are a very wise individual, and so that gives me hope with my children being raised in this type of environment.
Yeah, they're going to get a lot of experience, and they're going to learn from other kids.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, this is the property. It's like the A-frame right here, Bell Forest in the back.
Where is the nature school at?
So it's in Washington. And Washington is the first legal state to allow outdoor schooling. It's the first, and it's been legal for about 2 years now, which makes it also really interesting because Washington has been an absolute monsoon lately. We've been pouring down rain. It's not raining right now, but it's been absolutely crazy rain, and being able to keep up with the rain and the children.
Yeah, well, they can probably feel the plants more than we can as adults, and the plants are always happiest when it's raining. So,
yes, absolutely.
All right, love. Good luck. Thank you so much for...
Thank you so much for being there for the people.
Yes. All right, take care. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm doing live counseling. Sir Gino is asking, he's trying to request live, but you gotta hit the button. I think it's probably at the bottom or the top, or then the 3 dots, the request to join live. I'm answering people's questions on this Sunday. How do I start to meditate? That's a question from the emails. Can you give an example for when one has chronic illness and how to hack or stop the negative brain, which ultimately slows down and prevents healing progress? Or we've got questions from YouTube. Tips on how to stay strong for No Nut November. Like a practice or mindset shift that will make it easier. No Nut November, huh? So the chosen one is this person's name. And I'm sure it's a male because he's asking about No Nut November. So he's talking about celibacy, and maybe it's not celibacy actually, but it's not nutting. And what I found is that if you're not leaking out your bottom half, then that energy is just going to stay there, and it's going to get sort of It's going to make you anxious or horny. And we got to get it out of from down there. So if it's not going to spew out your bottom half and create a baby, we can move that energy up through the chakras into your higher centers, and then use that creation force to create reality. So there's a lot of people that are promoting not ejaculating, and then there's a lot of people following that wisdom and not really knowing what the purpose is, right? So the thing is, this chiropractor of mine, his name is Dr. Louis, and he works in, what's the name of that city? East of Los Angeles. I haven't been there in a few years. But he would always tell me, it's okay to follow a leader, but it's never okay to follow a follower. Okay? So when you guys are doing things in life, make sure that you're not following a follower. Make sure that you're getting the whole picture. All right? Make sure you're getting the whole picture. Like, for instance, never mind. I was going to go on another tangent. So if you're retaining your seed, the energy's got to move up the spine. And there's meditation practices, but there's practices like Kundalini Yoga, or a lot of my Kriyas that I do at kriyaoftheweek.com. It has to do with moving that creative energy up and dispersing it out through the body. And so a very easy way, guys who are not nutting in November, is within seconds, if you get super horny and you want to ejaculate and you're not trying to, and you're doing this because somebody on the internet told you to, the way that you can do it is inhale that energy down there up the back of your spine, all the way up to here. And then when you exhale, let it fall inside your body into your heart. Okay? Inhale the energy up, back your spine, and then let it fall into your heart. And just keep on doing that. And within a few seconds, you will feel that energy literally move. All right? So that's my advice. Do you look into Chinese medicine ways of ideal living? No, I do not know what that is. Guys, if you want to come on, I'm counseling. Ask any question you want. I'm going to wait 10 more seconds. If somebody doesn't join me live one last time, I'm going to sign off everywhere. Oh, I got a question. Not a question, guys. We're joining live. How to get back into meditating after a 5-year hiatus. My mind remembers maybe, but my body seems to have forgotten. It's harder and painful when trying to get back into the rhythm. Just like anything, start in steps. Consistency is going to outperform anything in everything in life, guys. Consistency will outperform a long day. Consistency will outperform intensity. Consistency will outperform success, like a very, very successful stint. Consistency over a long period of time is going to outperform everything. So you don't have to do it right when you start. You don't have to do it long when you start. You don't have to do it intensely when you start. You just have to do it consistently. So however that means, if that means that you're going to meditate for 3 breaths consistently, then do it. But figure out a schedule that you can stay on consistently, and that's going to, you will improve. Maybe it's 1%, maybe it's 1% of 1%. You will improve every single day, and consistently over a long period of time, that is going to build up. We always overestimate what is possible short term. And many people have said this, all right? So I'm just gonna, we overestimate, because it's true. We overestimate what we can do short term. We think, I'm gonna do this thing, and after 7 days, we're like, it's not turning out how I imagined it to turn out, so it's not worth it. We overestimate what we do short term. We underestimate what we can do long term. All right, so if we continue doing it every single day for 3 years, we completely underestimate the prize. we completely underestimate who we will be after doing that. So it's really easy to think that's not worth it. So it's really easy to throw away things that don't change immediately. It's really easy to not go on a journey that's long because we don't think the payoff is enough. So remember that, whether it comes from meditation, whether it comes from a job, I'm in the business of network marketing, and we can make however much money that we want. The thing is that as we approach customers, as we recruit other brand partners into our business, some people might say no. And so when a brand partner comes in and they get a no, because they worked for 1 hour on day one, it's really easy to be like, oh, this business sucks and you're taking advantage of me and I'm going to quit because I'm not a millionaire yet after one day. But they don't realize that if they continue doing 1 to 2 hours of work for years, 4 years, 5 years, it's very likely they set themselves up to have all the possibility to be a millionaire. Seema and I have already, we're crossing over that $1 million mark from our company. We've been doing it for 4 years. If I told you guys that, hey, there's a lot across the street, and whether this is I'm still answering the meditation question, right? But now I'm on the, doing something consistently for a long period of time to have a large payout, all right? If I say, hey, there's a lot across the street, and there's tons of stones, and they're really heavy to flip over, but you can flip them over. And underneath one of those stones, there's an envelope, and in that envelope is $1 million. What would you do in that moment? You would go across the street and you would start flipping over stones. And if you didn't find that $1 million after the first day, you're going to go back the next day and you're going to keep flipping them over. You're going to go back the next day and you're going to keep flipping them over. And you're going to keep on going back because you are convinced that the prize of doing something consistently, that you will eventually find the right stone that has the prize that you're looking for. And that's with anything in life, guys. You can do anything. It just takes us being convinced and obsessed with finding the stone to flip over that has the prize in it, whether it's money, fame, relationship, power, a good family, whatever it is. Continue doing what you're doing to get there over and over and over again. You will get better and better and better and better. And we all start off being really bad at doing whatever we're doing in the beginning. We have to trust ourselves, and we have to be okay with sucking at something in the beginning. All right. Sergino, you must be in a part of the world where you can't come live. Goodbye, everybody. Join me next time. Just got to sign off all these devices. Respect the vibe. Thank you. I should read these before I... How do I end live video? Seraphim Kalarov. I like that name. Hi, question. How do I let go of the past? I feel like I missed the past. So many opportunities in life. Now I'm 37. I'm struggling to face the future. Lots of regret and becoming bitter. I'm going to actually write this question down because it's actually good. I feel like I passed up so many opportunities in life. Now I'm 37. I am struggling to... I'll give you some words right now because I see that you're still on. To face the future. Lots of regret and becoming bitter. T Local Man, you are on YouTube. YouTube, but I'm going to. So the question is, how do I let go of the past? ? I feel like I passed up so many opportunities in life. Now I'm 37. I'm struggling to face the future. Lots of regret and becoming bitter. I was just in a park the other day, and on a bench, it was Will Robinson State Park. I hope that's right. And so that was the quote. And he said, "Don't let the past take away too much of today." So on a bench, it said, "Do not let the past take away too much of today." And I feel like I stood there and I stared at that quote and the chair, and I even thought like, oh, I should go take a picture of that. I should sit on that bench. But now I know why I was drawn to it, because this is you, and this is you asking the question where you need to hear that. Once a great man said, "Do not let the past take away too much of today." Today, where you are right now, is the launch pad of the rest of your life. And if you're looking at the things that happened long ago or things that you went through in life and you're having regrets or you're feeling sorry for yourself, all you're doing is undermining, you're making your foundation of now weak, so that this launch pad of whatever you're going to create in the future, you don't have the amount of energy that you should have, because you're focused on things that don't exist anymore. Straight up, it's okay to acknowledge that. But when you actually look into time, there's another way to convince yourself that linear time doesn't exist and we're not actually living in one timeline. Okay, a lot of us feel like we're in one reality that's traveling through time, past, present, and future. And this reality that we're having right now, we're holding on to everything as we're traveling through time. I perceive it a little bit differently. I perceive all of the slices of reality, infinite different versions of reality, are all happening now. And we're traveling through reality. We're traveling through all the little frameworks of reality. And what that means is that every moment of now that you're in, the past and the future are existing somewhere else, but it's not here with you now. And in fact, with the Mandela effect, if you're familiar with the Mandela effect, look it up again. But if you're not, basically means that we can change the past. The past is changing because we're in a different reality now than the reality we were in the past. So all the story and everything you're holding on to and letting influence this reality, you're the one holding it. You're the one grasping onto it. And the more that you can release, the more free you are. And so you're just basically a fish in an aquarium that you've set around yourself based on how bad you feel about the decisions you've made and what you did or didn't do. You're looking at that as limits, and you're just like a fish that is, set up its own barriers, as opposed to finding every single one of those limits. I think you should write them down and figure out what the polarity, what the opposite perspective of that is, because everything that has happened in life, there's a positive and a negative way and a neutral way to look at it. And if you can at least acknowledge that there's something positive of something that you did in the past, and all you're thinking about is the negative, then you're missing a big component of experience. We go through experiences so that we get a sensation. And if you're just looking at it from one point of view, then it's like the difference between seeing life through like a comic book versus like a high definition virtual reality TV. Like, increase the amount that you're perceiving. It's not just one perspective. And when you increase the amount that you perceive, you become more powerful. That's actually the separation between us as individual consciousnesses and this God or source or universe, which has the perspective of all things, right? The more perspectives we can have, the more godly we are, the more power we are, and the more power that we have, the less force that we need. So this is all about increasing perspective and gaining power that allows us to go through life in a way that isn't so forceful. Work smarter, not harder. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go. Sergino, no, I don't have time right now. Yeah, it's been an hour. I want to go to the next level in finance, sexual, spiritual. I know what to do, but on my own number when I'm anyway. Any tips? Everything I just said was good for you, Sergino.